everybody, and welcome to this tutorial. Today I am going to show you how to search and replace within VIM. Before that, I have made a small file for myself. It's called VIM, and I'm going to grab a line containing the word replace in it, where I have written out the command syntax to explain. But take a look at this command that I'm using to pull this line from this file. Why on earth would I place the command clear in front of the cat command? There is nothing on my screen, obviously. There's nothing in the terminal now. So why would I want to clear the screen like in this fashion? Well, you see, what this will do is clear the command itself from the standard output of the screen. And when you type in the command, you will only see the result of the command and not the command itself. Here's what I mean by it. If I press enter, there you go. The command has disappeared and I only have its output. If I didn't do that, if I just typed in the regular cat, you see it would remain on the screen. It would remain on the screen and you would be able to see the command and the output. But the one that I have used with clear simply states that the command will not be printed out to the screen. It will not remain on the screen. It's a bit of a neat trick that I wanted to throw in here somewhere. Now let us move on to the VIM and replace. Within the replace, there is this first segment. So this is the replace segment. You specify the command, then you specify patterns to search, pattern to search, and pattern to replace the search with, and then you can pass it in some additional arguments. But what we want to know now is these first three characters. What do they represent? If you remember from the previous tutorials, I have mentioned, or I do believe that I have mentioned, that the dollar sign represents the end. It will go to the last line, pretty much. Your cursor, if you type it into the command console of VIM, the dollar sign, the cursor will go to the last line immediately. And what is here? So this is just line 1, meaning go from line 1 to the last line, and in between I want you to search a pattern and then replace that pattern with another one. Let's go ahead and take a look at the file. Let me show you what I mean by this. Notice how I have the numbers here. Quite simple, just type in SE and U, well, and you know, sorry, oops, SE, no, and U, they will disappear. And if I type in, SE and U, they will reappear. Excellent. So this will number the lines within a file, and then we will be able to get a better view of things. If I type in 1, 10, this is a range that encompasses the entire file. However, I can also type in 1, dollar sign, which is exactly the same thing. It encompasses the entire file as well. But you don't want to always go to the last line and see which the last line is. And if you type in 10 and the file changes in size, the lines beyond 10 will not be taken into consideration. To write the dollar sign at the end is a far more dynamic way of grabbing the entire file, of saying basically that the entire file is a scope, but 1 to and the last dollar sign is also equivalent to a percentage sign. But I think yep, there we go. You can also type in percentage sign instead of 1 to dollar, as that would definitely say pretty much the entire file. However, we will deal with these signs a bit later on, with more of them, I would say, as we move on into more complex commands. For the time being, I just want to show you the range and how you would specify the range, how would you use it, and how would you utilize it with some other things. So let us type in 1, dollar sign, not space, S slash. And now we shall select the pattern to search. I have already marked the is pattern, and I will type in IS. Excellent. So IS and then another slash. Within this Within the first slash, you specify the pattern that you want to replace, and within the second slash, you will specify what do you want to replace it with. So I don't know, let's type in, uh, what shall I type in here? What do I have on my desk? I have my phone. So let's type in phone. At the last slash, after the last slash, you can actually pass in some additional options or arguments if you like. One of those, there are two things that I shall teach you how to do today, which is global and ignore case, which are probably the two most important ones. But if I just press enter here, it says 5 substitutions on 5 lines. Uh, does anybody see a problem here? Take a look at the 6th line. It says building, and then where it says phone, there should be is, but we have replaced is with phone, so it's okay that it stands to reason that we have phone now. But on the same line, the second is pattern has not been replaced with phone. What is the deal with this? What is the problem? Well, if you give the basic form of the command, it will only grab the very first pattern in the line, and immediately after it does that, it's gonna move onto the next line. It will not care for the rest of the line. In order to avoid problems such as these, you can use up and down arrows to list through the previous commands here, just so you know. After the last slash, you can type in G, which is global, substitute all patterns is with phone. Press enter, and there we go. All of the patterns now have indeed been substituted. But again, does anybody see another problem with this? Look at here. You have is, but is written with a capital I. And the way we issue the command, this is not a corresponding pattern. This is something completely different to the computer, and it does not care. However, we can tell it, I want you to ignore cases. Ignore cases completely. So just pass the letter I and press enter. You can pass in multiple arguments after phone, after the last slash, and there you go. Now the letters here, which were capital letters, have indeed been replaced with the word phone as well. Fairly simple and a useful command to use. Easy to get around, no problems. Just keep on, press escape. Oops, am I in the file? Let's press undo, 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 undo. There you go. We're already at oldest change. So I have once again reverted back to the natural state of the file, so to call it, the one that I have originally envisioned. Here, I'm going to cut the tutorial. I bid you all farewell. I wish you a ton of luck, and we shall see each other hopefully in the follow-up tutorial.